You're live.
All right. So
1
we
minute
are.
left.
Yeah. Well, no, we're actually. It depends on whose clock you're looking at. But anyway, we're starting now. So traffic's been way up. We've had on average about 28K traffic across 7 regions, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we're a small community. Like usually unique avatar wise in the regions. From what the few little bots that I put out, we see about 4 or 5 new people teleport in a day, but the newer people, like new people in terms of people that have never been here before, we've seen on average only stick around for about 3 minutes, with the occasional person staying for a couple hours, or with XAF 26 hours. So traffic's been way up. That's good. People have been fighting over Rodinia's cars. That's great. Tyro and I are going to start a little YouTube series called Adventures in the Outlands, where, like, if you guys are recording stuff and you think you did something funny or you recorded something cool, we'll chop it up, like him or I will, and we'll try to add it to, I'd say, a monthly episode, I think is the most realistic goal on that. So I want to address the elephant in the room, which is the builds. You'll notice that still not a lot of progress has been made on the builds. There is a reason for that. We are replanning these builds. As I said at the last meeting last week, these builds were never meant to be temporary, and they are, or I mean, never meant to be permanent, and they are temporary. Sorry, which means that they will be disappearing very soon. The assets that we were waiting for are getting close to being done, which means that if you just bear with us, we will get some better builds out. I know that people, any build in Second Life can be a good combat build after people start modifying them, but there's a better way to do these builds. And unfortunately, the big problem that we're going to have with the builds that we are redoing is that they are going to be quite flat, and I do apologize for that. It's just the easiest way to plan out the type of city environment that we're going to do. If reception of the city environment is negative, we will pick it up and try again. I don't think it's going to be negative. We've already put a month's worth of planning into the city. When we finally start throwing it down, it's going to be about 2 months worth of planning. So what we'll do is, since Desert Valley currently has nothing in it, we will build Desert Valley as the first sim with the new assets first. Then we will rebuild the Outlands, which shouldn't take very long. We are not doing the nuclear reactor for the Outlands like we thought we were. We sat down and thought about it. It was too claustrophobic, and gave KPC, unfortunately, too much of an advantage because of how claustrophobic it was. There were only 2 lanes that you could get AN and Chaos-sized tanks down. And so it just was completely thrown away. It's going to be Detroit now. Like, we're going to theme it after a fucking slummed out corner of Detroit.
I can go get pictures if you need them.
Yeah, right. We might, actually. So, just for reference, we're not building the nuclear reactor anymore. We're going to play around with the environmental hazard system and the Geiger counter thing, but I brought up to Minus, whose idea it was to put the environmental hazards, that fighting here is already frantic enough. I don't feel like making somebody fight with the environment like it's a roleplay sim when, there's usually on average at peak times here, there's like 35 people all shooting at each other just in those neutral sims, Yeah. And then you're getting bombarded from the home military sims, and then you've got the people that have the outposts. Well, there'll be 3 of them soon, 3 groups that have outposts here, and maybe 4. Network was kind of interested in getting one, which is cool. That's going to be too frantic with having to deal with like radiation hotspots and stuff like that. So we might play around with it, but we're not really going to implement that anymore, because like I said, it's not fun to fight with the environment in a combat sim. I think we've learned that between when Chaos and AN have also had environmental hazards out, and it's like, well, that was fucking lame. I got all the way across the map and stepped on like fucking a pit of spikes or something. This isn't fucking Mega Man, So we want to make this to where, like, if you're gonna fucking have an environmental hazard, it's gonna be something that someone else rezzed out, like landmines or a spike pit, for all I fucking care. But it's still gonna be something that is more conductive of the combat environment and less, I'm playing Stalker.
If I may interject for just a sec,
Yeah.
There's one thing in the environment I would like to see happen,
What's that?
and that is I don't know if this is an idea you guys originally had planned, but craftable guns. You can find
Yes,
parts
yes,
for them
I'm
on
about to
retail.
talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. So, pretty soon, as in pretty soon, like later this week, I'm gonna put some of my models that I was originally going to use for my store out in a weapon looting system. The looting system is going to be the precursor to a salvage system where you will be able to craft guns. It takes me, I move at turtle pace when I make stuff for Second Life because I'm really unmotivated most of the time because I make most of my money off commissions, not my store, and I'm not going to be making any money off of this project. So, bear with us. We're going to try to get other content creators involved. It is free advertising. They don't have to put a lot of work into it. But we are going to start working on a salvage system as well so that you can like run around and do stuff and get salvage and put guns together and have fun shit. And I'm going to try to interest some other scripters and stuff into it. We might even have like some vehicles you can craft if you want to fucking really save up the points, and there'll be a HUD and a database that keeps track of it, probably like the points that you have. But I haven't really started working much on the system's concepting yet, other than a lot of the work that we did for Prospector in the 2012 CC will probably get revisited. None of you guys ever saw Vector. It was a closed test that Arborium and the Central were running at the time, and it's unfortunate because it was a cool system, but it, like everything that happened in the 2012 CC, it kind of just went into development hell and never got touched again after that, other than the buggy system, which the buggy system is going to be introduced into some vehicles you can commandeer since stealing cars has become such a popular thing to do.
So we're all niggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Please, we're recording.
nice.
Dude.
Sorry.
Come on. Yeah, like you
We'll have to
gotta.
bleep that out.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't edit it. It doesn't fucking matter. But still, try to behave. We're trying to look professional here. So that's what we've got planned. I do want to see some other content creators from other groups show up if they are interested in helping out. Like I say every meeting, this is only Chaos Continent for as long as other groups make it to where that we can only be the only developers on it. Avil's contributed some InterSim Ordnance scripts to some of the groups involved here. I'm going to ask him if maybe he'd help me work on a freebie for them later on. Dread and I are going... We already put out a free las gun in the hub for now that anybody can go pick up. It's the exact same las gun we use. It has really reliable InterSim raycast. I recommend you guys go check it out. It's cool. The only thing that's different about it is it doesn't have the Chaos Star on it, and it fires a green laser instead of a red one. The only difference in the model, or in the aesthetics of it. Same sound, same animations. I will be working on the public armory most of the week this week. Minus will be working on the builds and layouts for Desert Valley and the Outlands most of this week when he has free time. He's still going through some personal issues in real life. I'm still going through some health problems, if you can't tell. So just bear with us. We did not intend to even start this project until next weekend. That was our original plan. Dusty can verify this. I said end of July. And we ended up getting a good deal on the Sims. We ended up having the money then. Things just happened a little bit faster, but because getting everything attached together happened faster, we had to wait on catching up on a month in development for working on this stuff because we hadn't even started working on anything for this project when we moved all the Sims together. But we had to take advantage of them being where they were and having the money at the time to do it. I want to touch on something that happened last night, and I'm not talking about the coercion or AN raid. Wyatt was adminning in combat. He was told to stop. He did eventually stop, but that is, you get 2 strikes, third time you're out. That's first strike on him. I'm going to talk to him privately about it later. He hasn't talked to me or anybody about it. If you are engaged in combat, I've got 2 admins here right now. You guys, I mean, I don't even think I really need to tell Casey or Mazer. I fucking never heard of them adminning in combat before, but either way, spread the word to the other admins. Like, if you're available and somebody asks for an admin, it's because whatever admins in the continent is probably engaged in combat with people, and I don't want that happening. Wyatt was, however, in the right that what Flying was battle scripting was fucking not working right, but he could have just told Flying, yo, it's warping to people, pick it up. Or he could have messaged Clary, and Clary would have returned it, which is what ended up happening, actually. So, just bear in mind, Clary's here a lot, but she's not doing combat a lot because she is kind of, like, her and Avel are our head admins, and Avel's not on a whole lot. So, Clary's kind of the main person you want to talk to. She's usually not involved in the chaos fight, and if she is, she won't answer her IMs. She will have a busy response on. So, just, if you're having problems, Haven, message an admin.
Fag.
Just as long as you don't call it insignificant little shit.
I don't care if anybody insults me when I'm asking them to cut something out, as long as they cut it out, honestly. There's not a lot that you can do that's against the rules here. But when popular opinion is you're being a jackass, it's kind of time to, like, sit down and be like, oh, maybe I'm being a jackass, you know? So just bear in mind with that being the case. Hang on. We haven't had any other problems with admins or the admin system breaking since it broke that first week that we had it out. It was actually within the first couple nights of it being out, and that was a problem with the database had gone down and stopped communicating with the things. That can't happen anymore. The longest the database will ever be down is probably like maybe 5 minutes at any given time. Our databases are hosted by Microsoft's secure cloud Azure service on a VM. They're pretty fucking nice. They're about 24/7 uptime, so we shouldn't have any problems with that anymore. Before, they were being hosted on one of our personal computers, which was kind of unsecure for one. The only two people that have access to this, 3 people that have access to this database are me, Flying, and Clary, because it's hosted through Clary's account. The security of it is pretty fucking good. Flying has that whole thing networked out in the skybox. You can look at it, but I think if you step on it and your key is not in the admin system, it kills you. I'm not sure.
No, you can step on it.
Okay, so you can go up there and walk around now. That's cool.
Unless he changed it.
Yeah, I don't know. He had something out where if you passed through the gateway and your key wasn't in the admin system, I think it killed you.
So speaking of the us getting the confidential stuff early and us being ahead of schedule pretty much. The whole
behind schedule, not ahead of schedule.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. The whole getting stuff linked up though, like having the 4 sims and all that shit, so quickly helped a lot with the intersim developers as well. Because now they can pretty much go from our sim to KPC sim without really any problems, honestly.
Yeah, the intersim thing was a very interesting problem to approach, and I'm glad it's working out. Yeah, it works fucking great now. So I did find out today that I think Desert Valley and Samson are not on the same data center as the rest of the Sims. Dusty or I will contact the estate owners and get that fixed. So I think that's why their wind lights are not syncing up. So we'll get that fixed as soon as possible. But I mean, I don't really see anybody using Desert Valley very often because of the fact there's nothing there to prevent you from just getting mowed down by like an LMG or something. So, but we'll try to work on that as quick as possible and get it fixed. I would assume next time Katya is online, I can just message her and ask her to send in the ticket. Rodinia has an outpost here, which is good. I'm sure you've all noticed that have been fighting here. We're working on helping Rodinia get caught up with the rest of us tech-wise. So if they're using something that you think is broken, they're very approachable. Just ask them to cut it out, something like that, and they usually will.
Ride's like the leader and shit. I'm the star in charge.
Yeah.
And he's good with diplomacy. I'll probably scream at you.
Yeah. Well, at least he's honest.
Yeah.
If you're having problems with anyone, talk to them first. If they get their MLG tryhard kid attitude on with you, and it's becoming a serious problem, like they're doing something really dweeby, contact an admin and try to get the admin to get them to cut it out. If you're just whining, The admin's going to side with the person that's killing you, though. Because that's a rule in the sim. It's less crying, more dying. You know? So just bear in mind that. I came home last night to whatever the fuck was going on, and it stopped, like, right after I got back. I have no idea what happened last night. Other than it looked like a giant griefy nuke war, which was, you know, whatever, it's traffic. But I hope that that's not like a nightly occurrence, because that could be really, really detrimental to our lone wolf traffic that we are starting to get. So, bear that in mind. I don't see any coercion people here again, which kind of sucks, but, you know.
They're in New Jersey, I think.
Are they? Okay, yeah. Well, Kane just sent a notice, like, right after we sent the notice about the meeting thing. I'm going to go over to New Jersey and help Kane with fixing some physics shapes on some stuff later tonight, because I know that there are some problems with the buildings, and he asked me if I could come over and take a look at them, so I'm going to see what's up with those. I might mesh him out some new buildings that look like those real quick, since it looks like they're planar mapped, but we'll see what happens. It looks like New Jersey's flag system's gotten fixed to where that you don't have to click it every single time. It's like once, and then it does like a LAN server thing, which is cool. I'm excited to see that New Jersey has a full sim, because New Jersey does offer a different kind of combat than we do here. To the point where I think that New Jersey and the Outlands can coexist pretty well together, which is good, because the Outlands is more of a home for militaries, and New Jersey's kind of a place to go when you feel like lone wolfing or just, you know, FFA shooting the crap out of each other. If you guys do have problems with the builds that we're going to start throwing down.
What?
Hang on, Wyatt's spamming the crap out of me about slob blob gestures instead of, you know, coming in here when he's an admin, but whatever. If you guys have problems, like see any severe problems with the builds that we're going to be throwing down throughout the next week or so, let us know and talk us through how you think it should be fixed. I'm sure there's going to be some things that we overlooked, and it's, you know, it's a flat build, like I said. And I mean, it's the easiest way to do a city. Like when they build cities in real life, they usually bulldoze the shit out of the ground and flatten it all out because it's easier to lay out a grid.
That is not true at all.
Not
Well,
mine.
it depends on where. Yeah, like most. I mean, if you live in Massachusetts, it's not true at all. But if you live in New York, when they level blocks, that's what they do. But
Okay.
the way that we're gonna see changes in elevation is more sims attaching. Honestly, flattening out, like I said, it's gonna be a little flat. Special one's gonna have some diverse terrain still, but I mean, there's not a lot you can do with terrain diversity on 256 meters by 256 meters anyway, without it looking like crap, in my opinion. Like when you're trying to build an urban environment anyway.
Or without giving some, like, a certain part of the sim, like, a massive height advantage, because,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Chaos's sim is going to be flattened out after we start. We start rebuilding Ass Castle and Italy Land. So we're gonna not have that giant 70-meter tall hill anymore. That's good. Like I hate our current build. Some people that have attacked it really like it. I don't. I think it's a, you know, Minus and I threw it together in 3 hours. I threw the build for Ass Castle together in 2 hours, you know. Not even really 2 hours. It was more like 25 minutes. Those were just there to give people something to fight in while we worked on assets, and now that those assets are getting close to being done, we'll probably do it in the order of Desert Valley will get built first, then the Outlands will get built, then Special One will get built, and then we'll go back to Ass Castle and Italy Land. Since those builds are, even though they're temporary, they're the more complete temporary builds, even though Ass Castle's kind of barren and lame. But, you know, whatever. Trying to think what else. Like I said, if you guys are having problems, fucking Rodinia and KPC and AN were having problems yesterday, and I asked everybody to hop in TeamSpeak, and we talked it out, and the problem, like, it was over after that. Like, everybody was like, oh, well, it was a couple people being stupid, it was a little bit of miscommunication, and when you talk to each other, it gets solved without anybody having to do anything, like, administration-wise, or, you know, a giant grief war getting started. So try to keep that in mind. Like we are, most of us adults. Some of us are not functioning adults. I won't name any names. Dread.
Chris.
What?
So just, I'd really, really like to not, like, we were to the point for like the second week and the third week that we were here where the admin HUD was getting used like once a day. Now the admin HUD's really only getting used for admins to troll each other with or to test it to make sure that the links are still working and crap like that between the sims. Which is good. I haven't seen it used in a while. It got used to Unsit Deli the other night. There's a notice and a video about it on the Chaos channel, but it's an unlisted video. I can list it for you guys if anybody thinks that we were in the wrong, but we weren't. He was in a volume detect gunship. He did cut it out after we unsat him, and then he stopped doing it, but he did, you know, bitch at Clary about it and call her insignificant or something. I don't fucking remember. You know, normal try hard shit that people do in this community. It's whatever. So anybody got any ideas for the gun looting system besides a crafting system, like anything else they want to see out of it, like that's here? Cool. That makes this a
Well,
lot
I
more
did
simple.
build a special system that we could incorporate for different weapons.
I don't want to make this. I want it to just be like prefabricated guns that we make. I don't want them to be random statted. That's a lot of extra work we have to do. Anybody else?
7C's fishing implementation. Something that might go along with it would be some sort of an objective-based type system to it, rather than just, hey, there's a gun here.
Oh, that's not. It's you're gonna have to capture and hold it like the objective points are.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to capture and hold it, and once you've held it for long enough, it'll be like, hey, here's some shit. You know. Somebody else was saying something.
Or is it just
it's
right
no,
in the
you get it in
inventory?
your inventory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying put it into 7Cs to like salvage and crafting and stuff.
We could do that as well. I know that I'm going to be
Take the
messing
volume
around with the...
detect off.
What's that?
You should probably take the volume detect out if it's going to happen now.
What, the
Or just give
7Cs
them a
thing?
lower- Or just give them
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lower
no,
level
I
gun.
mean, I'm going to throw some cool stuff in the prize servers for the 7C stuff, since we threw that out as a joke and people kept using it, and there's no point getting rid of it now. It's something fun for people to do, you know? Dread and I are going to work on getting some cars together that you guys can drive around. There might be like a
I'm
mobile
gonna make
car bomb.
some instructable sort of car things while I get a model.
security card.
I know, right?
But yeah,
Alright, let Dread finish.
So what I'm planning on doing is gonna get some car models with like doors and shit like that aren't joined to it, and pretty much they're gonna be physical, and every few hours they're going to reset back to their original position. Say every time the fucking hour return gets triggered, you know, every 4 hours or so. But between those, they'll be able to be pushed around by tanks and shit like that. But they're gonna have pretty high density, and also they're gonna be able to have like their fucking doors and shit like that, like shot off or blown up and all that stuff. And it'll just be like a cool little. What's I'm trying to think what the word is right now.
It's like almost like a mini objective. Like you can do some cool
yes,
shit. Yeah,
you know,
I mean, we
it's
might
just
like
a
put a
nice
chop
little
shop.
addition, you know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun and help with some immersion of, you know, hey, these are some city fucking streets that you're rolling the tank through, pretty much.
Yeah. And we might put out like a chop shop garage that you can, like, if you can hold on to the cars, you can drive them in there and scrap
Well,
them
yeah,
up
I'm also
for,
gonna work on
salvage.
making some like neutral vehicles and shit like that. I've got the code ready. I just need the models and all that shit.
Yeah, I've got some models that I haven't used that we'll use to get some neutral vehicles out. I know I keep saying this. I've been saying it for a month now. Sometime this week, the Venom will be added to the public armory. So that you guys will have a gunship. The Venom's pretty fucking ridiculous, but it doesn't have a lot of health. It's a glass cannon, basically. It's 50 HP. 50 or 100, I think, is the settings for it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now that we're done with that stuff, I did want to talk to you guys, like as a community and less as the Outlands. Variable armor values are ruining combat. I can't put it any more simply than that. If you disagree with me, I just feel like you're wrong. So what happens is you have these variable armor values in all of your armored vehicles. You got 400 HP tanks that drive around like race cars for some groups. You got 500 HP gunships. Like, you got... The only thing that I haven't seen with variable armor values are fleet ships. Fleet ships are pretty set at between 600 and 2,000 hit points, which is fine. Like, you know, that's a big fucking ship out in the sky. Everybody's going to point their guns up and shoot at it. That's cool. Basically, I know everybody has the variable armor shit now. Let's work on picking an armor value for things and sticking with it, like, as a community at some point. Like, not today. I just want to pitch it out there. I think that it's ridiculous because instead of encouraging the survivability of the vehicles, which is people are like, oh, well, that tank's not dying as fast as it normally would, crank up the AT values and everything, and then it doesn't make any difference that you're in a 500 HP base or a 100 HP base when somebody's hitting you with 100 AT missiles instead of 25 AT missiles after that, you know. And it's both sides are to blame for it. Like, when the event starts happening, like, why do you have 100 AT missiles? You know, why do you have 500 HP gunship? Why do you have 400 HP tank? Like, that kind of thing. And it gets to this big fucking dick waving contest with our community, where it's like, well, let's crank the armor values up, and then another group goes, well, in retaliation they crank their AT values up, and then you have little things like interceptor systems that people have out that are just getting obliterated by a hand grenade now because everybody's fucking hand grenades are doing, you know, 40 plus AT. It's just, you know, it fucks up the whole system.
I'm gonna add on to that though. One of the big problems, though, honestly, when it comes to the variable armor is that, you know, it makes it so that things that should be glass cannons, like gunships and stuff like that, are suddenly having, you know, the survivability of a fucking, you know, a battle, like a tank, you know, a fucking main battle tank. You get this thing in the sky that's, you know, fucking really not that big, that's moving around at a pretty moderate fucking speed, because its speed is, I guess, well, would be originally balanced around the original fucking armor value, but then you get, you know, these variable settings, so you get fucking this thing that moves around like fucking 30 meters a second or some shit.
Or 50 for some groups, you know. Like,
that's got like fucking 400 armor or some shit, and that's a small fucking target, so, you know, you can't reliably hit it with bullets and all that shit, and unless you crank up your fucking AT values and your missiles and shit, you gotta hit this fucking fast-moving target
with 400 fucking bullets. Yeah.
Or with fucking like 8 missiles or so, you know. It's like, what the fuck? And if you add an interceptor on the mix with that, then it's just like, okay, so what the fuck are you supposed to do? You're supposed to like pound it with everything you fucking have, and then, you know, because of that you have to escalate, and then escalation happens even more, and then fights just stop being, you know, fun like they could be.
So, I mean,
it's just,
I'm not going to enforce it, but, like, ever. Like, I won't enforce it. Like, a variable armor is what we have.
Pretty much what we're saying is, let's come together, and you know how Raider did that, you know, forum for air balancing stuff? Let's actually come together and talk about that stuff and actually put those types of things into play this time around.
Ed, you were trying to say something?
Oh, no, I'm just doing combat.
Oh, okay, so you're just hitting your push to talk key. All right, no big deal.
For sure.
I mean, I come from one of the bigger groups, the Alliance Navy, with the big fleet ships and shit. But yeah, I mean, if you look at chat, those are kind of values that seem reasonable.
I mean, we have the forum for air balancing stat sheet thing still on our Google Drive for the Chaos Google Drive too. I mean, Raid was pitching some really good ideas, but then nobody went ahead with it. We tried to. Corsi was the only person really pushing for it. I mean, it's just, you know, we can't cripple, like, as from Chaos's perspective, we can't cripple ourselves any more than we really already have with balancing. Like, the spread on our guns is so fucking absolutely fuck outrageous that it's really hard to hit shit for us from Sims away, to where that we might actually have to start tightening up the spread on our guns.
Well, it's because they're growing spread, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like one of those things where as a community we need to be like, well, we're ruining armored combat. The only thing that I feel like is any fun armored combat wise anymore is fleet ships. Like fleet ships are fun because nobody has variable armor fleet ships, thankfully. But not a lot of people have fleet ships either. Groups that have fleet ships are basically AN, Chaos, and Takoi. And nobody likes dealing with Takoi's fleet ships because they have little fucking repair drones that fly around them and repair them.
Yeah,
I
repair
like
them
fighting
faster than
AN's
you
fleet
do
ships.
damage.
What's that?
They repair them faster than you really can
Yeah.
lower fucking damage unless you got a constant fucking stream of high damaging, projectiles.
So, I mean,
non-stop pretty much on target.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just something that I really would like to see us address later on as we get further into these builds. Like, how can we... Because what it does, unfortunately, is it encourages the level of escalation that we see when people pull out these really high armor values. And that's what really sucks about it, because it would be cool to see tanks used how tanks are actually used, as opposed to, look at me, I'm a big bullet sponge that everybody's going to throw prim bashing AT at and lag up the fucking sim, you know?
LBA win.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I'm really hoping that Raid and Dread have free time at the same time sometime soon to sit down and talk about LBA together.
Well, there's also the thing with LBA though, because it's always gonna be a problem with fucking collision stuff. But as we all know, fucking LBA takes damage pretty much instantly. It's just people being nerd lords with intentionally greedy shit.
Yeah. Well, like New Rome using a 4,000 HP or 4,000 AT missile on Fern the other day,
and then getting nuked by the anti-grief.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will be taking the nuke thing out of our anti-grief system in our LBA soon. It was just a good way to determine who's actually abusing LBA.
Yeah.
Didn't
But,
we suggest months ago when the thing was actually first created to have the thing do a region say on some channel somewhere?
That's what
that
it
somebody can
does.
Actually, yeah. Okay.
What it
doesn't.
does is
What it does, it doesn't say it on a channel right now, but instead with the anti-grief thing that it does have support in there for actually saying it on a channel for login and stuff.
Yeah, you could
but
do
the
anything
anti-grief
with it.
and my stuff right now, just if someone tries hitting you with a fucking crazy high damage missile, it just says no, fuck you, ignores the damage from that missile and just reses a fucking nuke on them that lasts for a minute straight.
Yeah, it just black screens the shit out of the person, and it
I think
shouts.
it's a perfectly reasonable response.
Yeah, I mean, I really hate doing it, but it's we've only ever seen the system actually do that twice in the entire time that we've had it out. Yeah, it did it to Keon, and it did it to some other, I don't even know who, some no-name lone wolf or whatever.
I think
that
it
was
did
probably
it to Delhi
somebody's.
once, though.
Yeah, somebody's alt, and I think it's done it to Delhi once before, but I wasn't around for that. I just heard about it because, so
edgy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, there's that. I'd really like to see people balance their deployable systems as well. Nobody in this TeamSpeak right now actually am I complaining about. Mostly I'm complaining about XAF. I did talk to Meridem. Meridem was diarrhea blasting turrets all over the Sims the night before last, or was it last night? I forget.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was 3 nights ago.
Two nights ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
2
I
nights
stay
ago.
up so fucking long sometimes that I lose track of days. Yeah, after I showed them that their turrets weren't taking proper damage, which wasn't a problem with the scripting, it was a problem with the shape where they were using for the physics of it. I say, yo, make that a box and watch what happens. I throw a crack grenade at it, it takes every collision it's supposed to. So that got fixed, and then after I showed them that I wasn't just getting pissed off that they were dropping turrets, I was getting mad because the turrets they were dropping weren't taking any damage. They sat down, they chilled out and talked to me in IMs, and we, I was like, yo, even if it was a 5 or 10 second delay, it's better than blam turret, every fucking meter they walk. It was fucking ridiculous. And they didn't realize that with our turret HUD, if you want to get 3 turrets out in a generator, it takes you 3 or 4 minutes to get all that stuff out.
No, more like a minute and a half.
No, if you have to wait on the timer and it's not 2 people working together.
Oh yeah, you
3 turrets.
You don't have the one with the rebounds timer yet.
Yeah, the old timer.
Yeah.
But even so, it still takes time to put that crap together. When you're instantly rezzing fully built turrets, it's fucking stupid.
True that.
So hopefully they work on that. They get it fixed. XAF has been attacking for like 26 hours sometimes. Like there'll be like 2 or 3 of them here. They'll swap out. I have no idea like why they do that. I don't really care that they do it, but sometimes it can get so annoying. In terms of
Crucifix, it is not.
Yeah, it's not really like an Operation Crucifix. It's more like a, hey, look at me. It's like a fly buzzing around your head when you're trying to fucking code something or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just, it gets really annoying. If you guys didn't notice, Design Clarity was sentenced to a prolonged black screen for almost crashing The Sims. If you guys think we should lift that soon, we will lift it soon.
I do miss shooting him.
Yeah, it's...
He needs to not be a little fuckhead, though.
Is he just a fuckhead 24/7 though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he is. The problem though was that he was resing out like a bunch of those fucking grenade pod things he had that were firing at people. But
Okay.
He res so many of them out, and they had something wrong with them, so that they fucking were dropping script run down to 3%. That's what the
Let
problem
me
was.
clarify something. I had to return over like 1,500 objects from the Design Clarity every 1 or 2 minutes because of the amount of tourists they kept resing from the spawn.
That's ridiculous.
So yeah, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah. I
Speaking
mean,
of punishment stuff, though.
yeah.
you talked
We
about
can
that,
lift the punishment
texture
on
thing.
him on Monday. I mean, we could do it today if we wanted, but he might come back and start doing it again. It interrupts combat. It sucks that it has to be done, but it interrupts combat when that kind of stupid shit's happening. And that's what's frustrating about it. Like, I wish that people like the Design Clarities of our community would respect the people that are contributing these Sims that they have basically no control over enough not to fuck their Sims up, So it's just kind of like, come on, man. And Design's been banned from New Jersey multiple times. Design's been banned from
I think he's just
the old CC. He might be, I don't know.
Yeah, he's been banned from a bunch of fucking actual neighboring systems too. For
Sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna have to go. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
All right, we're about to wrap this up anyway, man. It's going on.
I have
You guys
one
have
thing
phones?
that I
Same, mate.
Yeah, see ya. What were you saying,
Yeah, I have
Brett?
one thing I want to cover though after we're.
All right, go ahead and cover it.
Okay. So fucking apparently lately there's this Dosu guy Starka that's been leaking shit and ripping textures and shit like that. And the leaking stuff, that's not so much the problem right now, because given that's a complete douchebag move to do, and people that leak shit should be treated like they're completely welcome. It's not technically against the rules or something that we banned for here. You just be treated like absolute shit until either you can somehow make it up to somebody, or you just leave the fucking community around here, period, out of shame or frustration because nobody wants you around. But the thing that is the problem is that apparently he's been ripping people's textures ripping their textures, giving them without consent.
I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but he's just straight up copy-botting people.
Yeah, he copy-botted some armor off of Straylock, I believe, too. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his. That wasn't Starka's the account. So.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Actually, one second.
Yeah, he has actually 2 accounts. Dosu and another one that I've seen attacking at KPC sometimes.
For sure. But yeah, so the thing that arose though when Haven though saw a particle texture that he believes is on the P-Core jump pad in an item that Dosu was giving out, and we contacted every member of the team that was involved in actually producing that actual item.
The only people that have access to that texture UUID are me, Logan Skytower, Karnfall, Flying, and Red Emerald. That's it.
Yeah, and all of them have said that, no, we didn't get the texture out or the UUID.
Yeah.
It's pretty much been in cold storage on that fucking object for this entire time.
Yeah, for 3 years.
He's also been ripping, according to JDB Bing, he's been ripping some textures that he's been doing and will fucking posting on I think he posted some on 4chan or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Probably
have all the details, but
yeah.
Content theft is content theft, pretty much. It's ripping shit. It falls under copywriting, so Pretty much. What do you want to do? What do you want to do, guys?
I mean, okay, so I'm gonna play one.
Wait. What was that, Chris?
Go ahead, Chris.
We just admitted to it.
Oh, when?
Just now.
Oh, really?
Okay, well then that solves the problem for us. Screenshot the logs so that there's not any dispute.
Yeah, hang on.
Yeah.
And then he finished off by saying, so it took those diaper furries that long to catch on. Get in the Dropbox now.
Well, I mean,
but Chaos isn't furry.
He's talking about AN and the other people. They haven't copy-botted anything from us, and we know that KPC is a bunch of diaper furs, right, Haven?
He's not here, but
yes. Oh, he left. Well, right, Start.
Crashed.
Oh, right, Casey.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway. Okay, so that kind of solves that problem for us. My big devil's advocate argument was going to be, well, I haven't heard of it happening in the Outlands yet. But it's happened to AN, it's happened to... What's that?
I said hello.
Oh, hey, Mookie.
Yeah, well, my position on it, though, is that it is still content theft.
Yeah, but the issue is that if we get on that binge, then what about that Eleon Fox guy that we know copy-botted some banners from us and stuff? Should we ban him too?
Coda,
Because that Coda Fox or whatever guy, whatever the fuck his name is.
Was it Kuroda?
No, it wasn't Kuroda. It was what's that?
Kota Leroy.
Yeah, something like
Kota
that.
Leroy. Yeah, that's who it was. Some fucking Russian faggot.
Yeah.
Secondary banned.
No, secondary is not banned.
Surprisingly.
He has not shown up here
much anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah. He's not very relevant.
Well, he's never relevant. After ADI died, he lost all of his relevancy. He was just going around trying to copy-bot everybody's stuff and piss him off after that. It was like copy-botting KPC's booth at the sci-fi convention was like his last little temper tantrum before he left, in all honesty.
All right, so is everyone in agreement about the whole Sarka situation?
I mean, if there's a little bit of a vagueness of the fact that since it did happen in Samson, it did happen in the Outlands. It's up to you guys.
Well, personally, the part of the story is before this, he apparently for some reason went on the entire terrain and started attacking everyone by ripping everything. Not only SLC stuff, but yeah, pretty much. It's not only SLMC people he's after, he's copy-botting everything left and right to piss off people.
So he has severe Asperger's.
Yes.
I'd say ditch him, to be honest.
I mean, given he's not a member of the community, but it's still content theft is.
Well, the last thing that I want to see is with us getting like a lot of the fucking work here is it's custom mesh. It's a lot of work went into it. It was volunteer work. The last thing that I want to see is all of this volunteer work end up on the marketplace or being spread around full perms because somebody copy-botted it. So I am going to go in favor of possibly we should probably just remove him from the equation entirely.
Well, devil's advocate again. Technically, it can come back on an alt and do it anyways. But
yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where we should keep an eye out for the guy. In my opinion, we can just.
Well, don't forget where he also used the Outlands to pass around things that were stolen.
Was he doing that?
Yeah.
That's
how
well,
Haven got the fleet ship and.
Oh well, then that's the matter's completely moot. That's copy-botting in the Outlands, which is one of the 4 bannable offenses.
Well, he didn't copy-bot it necessarily, but he was giving it out.
He's talking about
he's giving stolen content out in the Outlands, which is close enough.
And knowingly.
Yeah, knowingly giving it out when it was
that's
stolen,
just like
so.
something that's
Go
like
ahead,
really fucking. Hold up though, but that's just like something that's really fucking dweeby and spiteful that we really don't need to fucking deal with. Because like we've had these problems in the past with this community and shit like that, and I'd like to think that majority of people are past that finally, and I'd like it to stay that way. Honestly,
Yeah, no more leaked PDWs, please.
Yeah, like, does anyone really disagree with that? That leaking content is a shitty thing to do.
Well, the problem is that he's leaking content that he stole. It's not like it's something that he wasn't supposed to get his hands on, that he got his hands on. It's something that he outright stole and then started passing around.
Well, even if it's like just leaking out and it's knowingly, I would say, since content creators are kind of the lifeblood of not only this community and Second Life in general.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing we should definitely
Well,
take it.
I'm just saying, let's have the whole leaking debate on that stuff, like the actual just leaking gear that, you know, you got with perms from the actual creator because someone didn't perm shit up right, etc., etc. Let's keep that discussion to later, but right now let's just discuss the whole copy binding thing. Because like I was saying, the leaking, in my opinion, it's a shady thing to do, but that's not, you know, entirely something we should fucking go right out
so
right
what
now
I want to
on,
do
but, yeah.
about this, and I think get all the evidence together, including that screenshot Chris just posted. Start a Jesse War start a
save that, please.
Yeah, somebody save that, please. Start a Jesse War Journal thread about whether we should ban this guy, whether it qualifies as the copy botting or not, and then we'll deal with it that way. I want to move on because we missed a major thing that I totally forgot about. Okay, so the forum poll is in. We are going to... Where the fuck did it go? Hang on. Oh, neutral spawns versus attached military spawns. Okay, so there was a pretty good debate that went on in this thread on the forums, but the end result is that attached people in attached militaries are not, like, if they have an attached military here, they are not allowed to use the neutral spawns to lone wolf out of the, because of the fact that it creates too many little discrepancies that we would have to moderate, and we'd have to have admins watching all the fucking time. We don't want this to be like the old CC where you feel like you're always being watched, you know. Delhi presented a pretty reasonable solution for it, but it required a lot more moderation. Since Draft presented the best solution to it was either allow it, no moderation at all, no little vagrant or discrepancies in the rules for, like, you know, you can do this or that, or, you know, just outright allow it or don't allow it, and we're not allowing it. That's really all it is. We can revisit the issue later, but I do not want to add more regulations to combat than we already have. If you're in an attached military and you want to lone wolf, go capture an objective point and use that as your spawn in the neutral sims. If you don't like that, I'm sorry to say, tough titty, like, that sucks, but I don't ever want to see something like what happened in the CC that died again, where we'd be fighting Arc or Mercs, and then they'd be spawning in behind us, even taking our teleporters that we had, like our deployable teleporters, out in the hub, and attacking us and shooting us in the back and destroying our deployables and stuff like that. It was a shit move, and people are like, oh, well, it was Mercs doing it. It doesn't matter. If somebody did something shitty before, somebody's going to get mad and do something shitty again. You know, it's just, it's the reality of the situation, unfortunately. So, thankfully, the vote came out as no, because it means that I don't have to sit here and try to figure out how we can regulate this. But if it becomes another hot topic of debate, we will revisit it. We will redo the vote again, things like that. But does everybody understand why the admin staff and the council were so in favor of this being a no, and actually relieved by the fact that it is no? Or do I need to...
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's
another clusterfuck otherwise.
Yeah, it's just going to turn into a giant regulation clusterfuck otherwise. So, if we revisit the issue, like a couple months down the road, and it passes, it's just going to be a yes, completely unregulated, is if it passes. But right now, I want to let it sit for 2 or 3 months as a no. If people are still unsatisfied with the fact that they, you know, in KPC or Chaos cannot lone wolf out of the hub, we can revisit the issue later. But if you're online and you want a lone wolf, I guarantee you there's at least 2 other people on that can work with you to take objectives and fight other people in the Outlands from your home sim. It only affects 2 groups right now, or 3 actually. It affects Rodinia, Chaos, and KPC. So it's not really that big of a deal even, but it did need to be talked about before other militaries attached and more outposts went down. And I'm glad it got resolved. It got resolved the way that the community wanted it to. There was a pretty reasonable discussion about it in the forum thread. A lot of insults were not passed around for once. There were some, but it was mostly people like, well, I think this is a good idea. I think this is a bad idea. This is how we could achieve this. I think that about wraps up the meeting. Expect some major changes this week. Like, expect something to show up in Desert Valley, and expect the Outlands to possibly get returned, so that we can start working on some other shit for that, because I don't like what we have out in the Outlands right now. It's complete ass. It was never meant to stay there. So we're gonna build Desert Valley. We're gonna build the Outlands. We're gonna go over to Special One and build that, and then we're gonna come back up to Ass Castle and into Italy Land to rebuild Chaos's Sims so that it's more fun to fight in. Because fighting up a giant hill is not very fun. It's basically just, it's a waste of a full sim right now, the build that we have in Italy Land. Fucking phone calls. And I know it is. And so you guys have every right to complain about the build that we currently have there if you don't like it. It sucks. It's a shit build. We threw it together in like 4 hours, and it was never ever meant to stay there as long as it has. It's just we had to catch up on development stuff. It'll get changed really soon. Sorry,
Prove
guys, yeah, prove it. Yeah, exactly. The modular building pieces, I will preview to you guys, like the new modular building pieces that Zane's working on. I'll preview to you guys after the last few pieces of it get uploaded here throughout the week, and I'll send out some screenshots and show you guys that we are actually working on things. We're not just dicking off. I think that about wraps up the meeting, unless anybody had anything else they really wanted to talk about. Wow, cool.
I don't know. The mention of what I wanted to talk to you about whenever I had mentioned it before we.
Yeah, can we just can we talk about it here? Is that cool?
Well, no, I was gonna wait till later because I've got a scheduled meeting for my division in KPC.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it later tonight. That's cool.